it's definitely about legacy, and it's definitely about the belts at the end of the day because I'm coming to take.
Do you feel like you have to be perfect for every second to beat Canelo?
No, not really.
Where do you think a victory over Canelo puts you in terms of the all-time greats? Charlotte Daly of Male Sport Boxing, joined by Terence Crawford. First of all, how are you?
How are you?
There we go. Get it out the way early.
I'm doing good.
Look, we have to start with that photo from last night. You, Canelo, Turkey Al-Sheikh sitting down for dinner together. Very rare in boxing. How long were you together? What were you talking about? And what sort of impression did Canelo leave you with?
Oh man, we was just talking with Turkey. Turkey was going over a lot of things about boxing. Wasn't nothing too major. Canelo, he's a cool dude. Um, that's pretty much it.
You said before that you used to struggle with your temper, that fire, that rage would kind of drive you on. You were sitting across Canelo, the man that you're going to be fighting in a couple of weeks' time. Did any of that kind of rage come back to you, or are you at a point in your career now where you don't need that sort of emotion to drive you?
Nah, I don't think no rage came through my mind or my body at that particular moment because it's not fight time nor is it close to fight time. We both professionals and we both know how to carry ourselves. And when the time comes, the rage will be there.
Look, you're stepping up multiple weight classes for this fight. I was thinking about it in kind of history-wise. Bernard Hopkins obviously stepped up 2 weight classes when he fought Antonio Tarver. And everyone said that that was reckless and it was a silly thing to do, but it ended up being a defining moment in his career and almost made him this great. Do you think that this is a similar thing for your fight now at this point in your career, stepping up and facing someone like Canelo? Does this kind of make you unbeatable and this figure that will just go down in history?
I don't know. I don't know about comparing it to uh, his situation, but it will be a situation where I'll be talked about for many decades to come, and definitely go down in the history books as one of the best fighters to ever lace up the gloves.
A lot of people tend to test out the weight before they go into such a big fight. You obviously fought Madrimov at 154. You haven't decided to take a tune-up at 160 or 168. You've decided to jump in straight with Canelo. What is the thought process behind that? Why have you decided not to take a tune-up fight?
If you look at my career, I always went straight to the champion in every weight class that I went to, except 140. I had to fight for a vacant title, but I always went for the champion. And I just think, whether I fight a non-champion or a champion, is going to be the same thing.
You said before that you actually spar bigger guys anyway. Obviously, sparring is one thing. What's the difference when it comes to training? Like, you don't want to lose that speed that you have, but you need to pack on the muscle and things like that. How do you balance that with your training? And is it focusing now on strength going into this block, going into this camp?
No, not really. I'm strong, and come fight night, I think people would be surprised and, seeing how strong that I really am. I think that a lot of people is, over uh, thinking the size advantage. Canelo is a strong fighter in himself, and he's a good puncher. But so am I, and fight night is going to be good.
You said there about the fact that people are overthinking the size and the power of Canelo. Do you think that that's oversimplifying him as a fighter, but also what you're looking to achieve by just saying he's bigger and more powerful?
We don't know yet until we fight. I can't never say somebody is bigger and more powerful if I've never been in the ring with them. A lot of people that I fought, writers and the fans may have thought these fighters was stronger, bigger, uh, punch harder. But come fight time, uh, you see a big difference in my size, my power, my strength, and so forth. So I can't never say how big, how strong, how hard a fighter is until I fight him.
You mentioned there a lot about the power and the size, but obviously the speed and the timing is another really important factor going into this fight in particular. You know, you look at history and there are fights where Manny Pacquiao beats Oscar De La Hoya, and that's, you know, everyone said that the bigger guy was going to win that. For this fight, how important do you think the IQ and speed and timing will factor into this? Because everyone is kind of tunnel vision on the weights and the sizes and everything like that. But how important is that other side to it?
Well, all that goes hand in hand, and you know, uh, my style. You know, I'm very powerful, explosive, strong. That's why I have the ability to adapt to a lot of fighters because I can do so many things in the ring. So come fight night, we'll be prepared and we'll see what would be the best, way to tackle this.
This fight almost reminds me a little bit of Beterbiev-Bivol rematch. I know that obviously they were the same weight, but Bivol had to be perfect. He couldn't give a second to Beterbiev, otherwise his power was going to be a problem. Do you feel like you have to be perfect for every second to beat Canelo?
No, not really. I don't think I have to be perfect every second, but I'm definitely aiming to be perfect.
You've won multiple titles and multiple divisions undisputed. You've done it all on paper. This fight now, to say you don't care about the belts sounds extreme, but is it about the belts, or is it now just about those legacy fights that are writing names in history?
Well, all that goes hand in hand. The legacy, the belts, all that goes in one basket. He's an undisputed champion, um, two-time undisputed champion in the same weight division. I'm two-time undisputed in two different weight classes. So it's definitely about legacy, and it's definitely about the belts at the end of the day because I'm coming to take.
You've been pretty open before about your upbringing and kind of the difficulties around that, things with your parents, violence in the neighborhoods and things like that. But do you think those hardships have given you that drive and hunger? Do you think you'd still have that hunger now at 37 if you hadn't have had those hardships early on?
I don't know. It's hard for me to say. I find myself thinking that I wouldn't, but at the same time, I don't know because I never experienced not having those hard times and hardships. So I don't know.
Where do you think a victory over Canelo puts you in terms of the all-time greats?
At the top. I think it's going to put me high in the rankings.
So then, of course, this would be your legacy fight. If you look back on your career, is this the one that would then stand out to you?
This is the one. It's the one.
You say that it puts you at the top. Who would be your kind of Mount Rushma of boxers?
I don't know. I just know I got a position up there after this one.
Look, I want to get a quick insight into, we've got a big fight coming up in the heavyweight division, Alexander Usyk, Daniel Dubois fighting again. Can I just get your thoughts?
Usyk.
Straight away, no hesitation. Can you talk me through why?
I just think, he's going to do it again. I think he the better fighter. I think Daniel Dubois, he's the stronger fighter, but I think skill-wise, I think Usyk got the edge in that.
Look, lastly, I know you're not going to want to look past September. No fighter ever does want to look past their next fight. But if you achieve this, we've said you've done it all already. This adds another accolade. What's left for you that's going to excite you to this level?
We got to wait and see.
Nothing that jumps to mind?
No.
Well, we'll wait and see. Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.